Yes, people, been a minute. Gonna get back on a YouTube thing more consistently. Try and give you a breakdown of kind of my market overviews. But today, as you can see on my screen, it's a trade I'm in, GBPAUD. I just want to give you a top-down analysis of kind of what I'm seeing, how I analyze the markets, why I took the trade, and what I'm looking to see going into the weeks ahead. Because this is on the daily. Obviously, as you know, I swing trade, so just gonna kind of give you a breakdown. Obviously, it's one for you that you can follow. I'll probably be updating it week to week just because it's gonna take a while to play out, and we can see, yeah, how it goes. But without further ado, if you're new here, maybe check out my previous videos just so you can get an understanding of kind of my strategy. But other than that, man, let's get rocking and rolling. So starting on the daily, kind of absolute bread and butter of trading, right? We can see here on the daily we was in a clear downtrend for so long, like we're talking weeks and weeks and weeks, and kind of we had this price action here where we had a low, a high, a new low, and then what I see during this shift was kind of a wave, a big strong wave on the daily to the upside. And what does that kind of look like for us? We had a low, a high, a new low, and then we got a new higher high from this low, breaking market structure. This price action is obviously known as a structure shift, right? The bread and butter. So what I was anticipating is a pullback into the main daily demand to then continue to a higher high point, because I understand that the market was bearish. We've had the confirmation that the market has shifted bullish because we've broken market structure to create a structure shift. And now we are looking for that pullback into our demand area and then simply targeting a higher high. So firstly, I want to go down into our reasonings for taking the buy in the first place. And then we can kind of understand why my targets are here, the reasonings why I can kind of identify. You see I have like a line marked out here. It's kind of an anticipation of where this is going to reverse from where it did beautifully. So we can also go into that kind of like an added thing at the end to a bit of like extra tools that you can use. So without further ado, my entry is always kind of on the 4 hour. So what I want to see is price has obviously come into the daily demand, which we had analyzed on a higher time frame, right? And what I see was price has made a pullback, a low. So a low, a pullback, a new lower low. We understand that the market is going to reverse most of the time at lower low points. And that is why I was looking for an entry in this specific point. We obviously had this liquidity here, which I've marked out here, and you see we literally wick the liquidity. So price come and tapped in, it taken out this liquidity here, and then I was expecting a shift to the upside. And now what did happen on Monday? This is kind of the price action which happened on the Monday that had just gone. And this was kind of my confirmation to enter, to be perfectly honest with you. It's not kind of textbook, but it was enough for me to kind of get into the trade because I've already done my top-down analysis. I understand the daily wants to kind of move to the upside. We've had the shift, right? I understand the market wants to go long-term higher. So my confirmation was we had a high, a low, a lower low, and a new higher high. So that kind of gave me the structure shift that I needed on the lower time frame. And then during the week, it was like constant consolidation. This was just due to a slow week. Every single pair, if you look back at the pairs for this week, everything was so slow, man. Like it was crazy. So that was kind of my confirmation on the 4 hour. So my entry was literally marking out the fresh demand on the 4 hour, which was this one here. And I just managed to get literally a market execution because I woke up and I was like, okay, cool, we've had the confirmation. I took the trade on Tuesday, and I've just been sat in it still. Like, and I kind of made a video of this on my Instagram. Like, once I'm in the trade, I'm a swing trader. All of this noise is irrelevant. I've had the daily confirmation. High, low, new higher high. I understand the market has shifted. This is then a wave down into the daily demand. I then waited for the 4 hour to shift structure, and then I've executed. I've had my stop loss at this low. I understand now everything is played out how I need it to play out. So from a technical perspective, if I'm in the trade, I can't now dictate how long the market is going to take to get from my entry to my take profit. I just have to execute and see how the cards fall. So now I've just stepped away from the charts. If we get pullbacks, if we get continuations, even if it hits my stop loss, I don't care because I've read the market. Everything is checked a box. I now anticipate market to squeeze higher. On the other side, if we squeeze one more lower, I will just look to enter again because I understand this is my true protected low. So as long as my stop loss is here, price should never get back to this low. But I just wanted to get kind of a better risk to reward, which you see this gives me like a 13. So let's see what we get going into next week, because I obviously want for you to follow. If any of these kind of things don't kind of make sense, you can go back into my previous videos, go into my reels, or I even have courses on my WAP, which you can find either in the dashboard or just drop me a message on Instagram. But going on to like the last little bonus which I gave you, will give you to know where price can reverse from. So you take the Fibonacci tool, and to know where structure shifts will reverse from. So you see here we had a low, a high, a new low, and now a new high. That is the structure shift. The way you calculate where this is going to reverse from is by doing the following. We understand this was the breaker structure and this was the low. All you do is take your Fibonacci from the low backwards to the previous leg, and there you get your targets. You see here, price initially reacted off the minus 27, squeezes higher, and we know minus 61.8 is an extremely strong reversal point. So from this point, once you start getting bearish confirmation, if you want to wait for this structure shift, because we have a low, a high, a new low, you can simply enter on the sell here, stop loss here. If you want to be safe, stop loss here. And you understand then price is meant to reverse back into the demand. That is why, in my opinion, swing trading is the best, because you can follow one pair and trade every single wave, because you have an understanding where the market is going, you have an understanding of where reversal points are, and a general better understanding of where the flow of the market is heading. So that's just my breakdown of GBPAUD. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, drop me a question in the comment section and I'll be more than happy to help. But that little end tool is something that's really powerful. I would suggest only using it on the daily time frame when you get the shifts. But if we just go through this wave here, you can see it works time and time again. If I take the high to this low, you get a reversal from the minus 27 area. It works most of the time. If I go to this one, to this low, price, okay, this time it just misses the minus 27, but it goes to the area and it reverses. Like, these areas are extremely powerful. When price is at a lower low point, the probabilities of reversing are extremely high, and exactly the same principle in a bullish trend. When price is at a higher high, the chances of reversal are extremely high. And we determine this by just taking the Fibonacci from the low backwards and we get our targets. But I hope that helps, man. Like I said, overall analysis of GBPAUD, little kind of bonus at the end for you to kind of try and implement. But any questions on any of the analysis, the end tool that I use in terms of catching the reversals, just drop me a reply in the comments and I'll be more than happy to help, or I can make another video on it. But peace out, man.